everyone. It is another week, or I guess bi-week, and that means it's another episode of Unlimited Railworks, Video Game Choo-Choo's anime podcast. I'm your host, Rose, and we're finally all here, which means Elvie is here.
Hello.
Hi, Elvie.
It's been a hot minute. I'm here.
Yeah. You've been on all sorts of journeys, I feel like.
Trials, tribulations.
Yeah.
I'm still on a journey. I'm reaching.
Yeah, it's not ended.
It's a lot. But for anyone who has personally reached out to me, thank you. But I'm glad to be here. I'm sincerely happy to be here. I am really happy to be here back with you guys to talk
I'm happy too.
To talk about anime. There was a pause there. It sounded very hesitant. I didn't mean to pause there.
It's okay. No. I'm very glad that you're here as well. We missed you during our rundown of the new season stuff. 'Cause I always love having you around for that.
I can only imagine.
There were some real bangers this year, but we'll talk about that on another episode because we kind of booked this episode up. Which, by the way, the boys are here too.
Hi.
John.
The lads.
Hi. And Maverick.
Hey.
Hey. I'm always glad that you're both here also, to be clear.
Oh, yeah, I got the distinction that wasn't the case immediately after
I was just
few
like,
episodes.
oh, thank fucking God, Elvie's here. Finally. Oh, so horrible. No. Well, I don't know. Maybe I have some ire in my heart towards you, Maverick, for making me watch Fully Coolly Progressive.
Hey now.
I'm just joking. I'm glad I watched it, even though we'll get into it in a little bit. Yeah, we're here to talk about Fully Coolly, specifically Progressive and Alternative. The sequel's released in 2018 on Toonami. I think what we're going to do is discuss Progressive first and then Alternative second. We'll probably mingle a little here and there about what we're talking about. Like we'll probably go which they changed in Alternative or whatever, stuff like that. I figured we get into it, So Fully Coolly, that was a series from the early 2000s made by Gainax, all about, adolescence, really. I think that would be the term to use, right? Growing up, I guess, to an extent. These, I suppose these are trying to go for a similar concept, Progressive is very specifically trying to do the same thing, but with a girl instead of a boy, Naota in the original. Here we have Hidomi. And they're trying to do the same thing, but with Progressive, it's, I don't know if they did that. I don't know what they did, but we'll get into that. So this was made by Production I.G, since Gainax is obviously not real anymore, really. It was made in conjunction, like I said, with Toonami. Some people at Cartoon Network and stuff, Adult Swim specifically, I guess you could say. But it's a lot of the people. Production I.G was people who worked on the original Fully Coolly. It's when Gainax broke, a lot of people went to Trigger and a lot of people went to Production I.G. And I think you can definitely tell the Die Buster lineage here, in my opinion. I think that specifically Alternative later definitely looks a lot like Die Buster a lot of the time. But they went for a different style with both of these shows than the original, which was a lot more of its time, certainly, but a lot of more heavy lines and a lot of colors, a lot of different, really vibrant colors and stuff. They went for something different. I'm not sure what. They went for something different for every episode with Progressive. But they still had the pillows, which is good, doing the soundtrack. Elvie, since it's been a while since you've been here, how about we start with you? How about you talk about how you felt about Progressive Fully Coolly?
Sure. I guess before I go into Progressive, to go into my relationship with the original FLCL.
Yeah.
Not really much of one, to be quite honest. I was not, and I did rewatch it just for the sake of, reconnecting with the sequels we ended up watching. I don't feel that strongly about the original Fully Coolly either, compared to, I think, a lot of other people. You know, rewatching it now as an adult, kind of past that awkward stage of what the main protagonist was going through. You know, a young boy named Naota who was like maybe 12. He's like a preteen in the original FLCL. I you know, it might be just the fact that I had a difficult time of like connecting, or like not. I guess relating is the issue with some of the stuff it was just kind of going into, on top of like the zaniness, the wackiness of it. But very much rewatching it now, it's like, okay, there's a lot of things to this that I think was very specific to the time it aired, and like for the purposes of like what it was airing for. So for FLCL to kind of have sequels is a little weird to begin with, and I remember when that was like going around, right? And there was that whole confusion too, because like, was this an April Fool's joke? And it's like, oh no, they actually did make full-on series and all that, like full-on 2 more series connecting to the original FLCL. So yeah, so conceptually, like this making a sequel for something like that I feel like was tied to a very specific time period, and kind of zeitgeist in its own way, is a little weird. But it did happen, and you know, that's what we're talking about now. Progressive, and FLCL is weird. It's an inherently a weird series. Like, even people who love it can't really explain what's going on with it beyond like something allegorical to puberty, something allegorical to sex, very blatantly so. Progressive is weirder, more so that you know, as I think a couple of you were talking about in our, you know, our group chat, how it does feel like it adapted a lot of the surface elements of the weirdness of FLCL, but didn't really do anything with it in a coherent or meaningful way. And I think the problem stemming mostly from the fact that it has like a lot of underdeveloped characters, which again sounds odd to say for a series that is only 6 episodes, and a lot of these characters are only like kind of given to us in a lot of these bite-sized crazy chunks. But right, I think Progressive's biggest issue is that I don't think it knew I think it didn't know who its main character was, or if it's supposed to have a main character, comparatively so to FLCL, where it's very clearly, you know, despite how nonsensical it is, there is like a clear, I think, at least by a halfway point, you kind of get there's a clear center point. This is through the lens of this like preteen boy who is coming to terms with his own like concept of like sex, sexuality, growing up, and like all these other things, and you know, tied to the other people around him who are kind of grappling with their own concept of what maturity is. Progressive we start off, I personally thought in the first episode we started off a little strong in the first episode. So we clearly have like this young woman, and you know, she's a little older than the original main character. So between the sequels, right, we're getting a character that's slightly going older and older. You know, now she's like, this character is like 15 or 16, right? And it's like, okay, I get the issue. She has anxiety, maybe. she has like these, like, she's very withdrawn from the world. She's very antisocial. There's something going on here. Like, okay, I see that's what the thesis is going on here. But as we get more and more into it, we're introduced to these other characters where I feel like the spotlight is not very consistent over as to who we should care about. And then it starts introducing these like boys. And I felt more attached to them than Hidomi, who's supposed to be the main character. And I'm like, it felt like that was a show. This is a show meant for them. And then Progressive starts circling back onto the same themes the original FLCL was going through, which I felt like was at odds as to what we were presented with to begin with, in regards to what the main character's issue actually is with Hidomi. And it just felt like there was like a lot of clashing elements in regards to taking away some of the sort of exact same surface level stuff in the original series that did not mesh well with like what we're presented with here. And I think the most frustrating part too was, you know, we have the return of, you know, Haruko, who is a kind of the only main recurring character throughout all of these series and within the FLCL franchise, I guess, at this point. I don't know if I would argue if it's a franchise. It's not that, you know, like, huge, but probably it is a franchise.
I mean, we're getting Grunge and Shoegaze,
yeah.
So, like, at that point...
But yeah, and then you have Haruko who comes back, who as is already, like, a multi-layered character who I'm not quite sure how to define as to what her purpose is and her agenda is. But then she kind of comes back in a weird manifestation that also somehow makes even less sense. And you know, in Progressive, she now has this other character that is technically a part of her, like this duality thing going on with yin and yang, etc., where she's supposedly split in two. And then I don't know, her objectives here didn't quite make as much sense compared to what felt like a pretty defined goal in the original FLCL. Like she felt like an annoying flanderization of herself here. You know, it's like, oh yeah, she's insane, she's crazy. You know what I mean? She's just a frustrating, exaggerated version of herself where she seemed very selfish in such a way that was way too at odds with everything else going on, and seemed like too much of a misdirect, and she didn't have really that chemistry that I think was important in the original FLCL as to why is she here to begin with.
Like, I feel like they introduced Jinyu, right, her other half or whatever, and I feel like they should have just
focused on her.
Had Jinyu.
Yeah, that
I feel
would
like
be interesting,
especially since Haruko is in, you know, alternative, and she's way more normal in alternative.
Right.
I think like it would have, like, I realized they were trying to do their epic comeback or whatever,
right.
but it just felt like you got this character, you're getting fucking Miyuki Sawashiro to voice her, and you're just not using her. You're just falling back on the old thing, and it's like you could have done something new to like further expand your universe and ideas, and they just did not.
Yeah, I think especially another frustrating thing is that I personally thought a lot of visual sequences in Progressive was very interesting, and I think really cool, especially in how I think it was consistent with the initial vision of the original FLCL, especially with playing around with different art styles. And I thought like the nightmare sequences, rather, or not dreams, the nightmare sequences every opening of the first every episode opening. I thought those are really cool and interesting, but then we don't really do. They don't really give us a great payoff as to why we're getting those sequences either, right? And again, drawing back to the fact that I am not sure who the main character was supposed to be, or if like I'm not you know, it didn't feel like there was the payoff of like what we were supposed to be seeing as character development and growth and resolution, and didn't really feel like much because I wasn't attached at all to much ado of any of these characters in Progressive. Music's still a banger though.
The music is still a banger, though,
and that is consistent across all the series.
I do think you're right about the. It just escaped my mind.
About the characters, the character relationships.
The characters, yeah.
Yes.
So the characters, it's like, to me, my problem was fundamentally like, Fooly Cooly is very much a show of aesthetics, right? The original. It's super about aesthetics. It's super about, you don't have to go so hard deep because you're visually representing what you're trying to say, right? Like they're doing a ton of that. Here, the visual quality, they are doing fun stuff every now and again. Like they have episode 5 in particular, like looks really good when they do the style shift.
Yeah.
And there are a couple good of the like dream sequence things, like that one I don't know if it's rotoscope, but like the ink brush one. That one looked really good. Like there's stuff that they're doing that's great, but like when it comes to like actually their visual direction, I think my wife said this, it feels like they don't have a good director for the scenes. Like there's no scene direction going on. And they can't convey ideas that much. And it also seems like they realize that because every conversation is them explaining characters, like vocally. Like the scene that made me really frustrated was in episode 2. We see Ide, the glasses boy, the love interest for the main character, and Hidomi sees him working after school, and they explain that he's poor, so he has to work in the scrapyard. But the dude just says out loud, he pretends to be the innocent class clown who just brings a smile to everyone's face, but really here he's just working hard. And it was just like, you're just saying that. You didn't show me that at all. I don't think he's a class clown character. I don't know why you're saying this. Like, then there's so many examples of that later, like in episode 4, I think it is, that has the rental girlfriend.
Yes.
Maybe 3. And they're just saying again, like, this is this dude's character. I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to say what his deal is. I'm not going to show this through his actions or like anything else. And it just makes everything feel just really amateur, in a really weird way, because again, like not to just set this up saying this over and over again, but like alternative is way more normal. Like,
Yeah.
and they were made at the same time.
Right.
It's really strange to me.
Yeah, the word direction is, yeah, I would say even misdirection. Like again,
Yeah.
again, going back to what I feel like, and I think you seem to be agreeing with, the core problem with Progressive is the characters, and it's not clear what their arcs were supposed to be. Again, Hidomi, the first
No.
episode is telling me she's just withdrawn from the, the headphones is a very obvious metaphor, like, oh, she's closing, off everything, that's it's just very low hanging
Yeah, the
fruit.
world ends with you.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh my gosh, the whole thing where like she's upset, like over her father, and like, is he ever gonna come, back, and her mom clinging onto this business over, like, but then for them to just be like, oh, also she's actually has a crush on Ide. I don't know. I felt like, huh? Like, I felt like those two things were not supposed to like
No,
coexist. Why
Yeah.
did we need her to have this forced infatuation with this boy? She didn't really connect with it at all.
No,
Yeah.
to compare to the original, right, with
Yeah.
Mummy Me, it's like Mummy and Naota, it's like it totally, everything about
keep
that
showing it.
relationship makes sense. They show it
They very
consistently.
much
They have
show
her
they
being
have
a freak.
like a fucked up dynamic going on. Yeah.
He's jealous of his
Yeah.
his brother, stuff like that.
But
Like
Hidomi
it all.
and Ide barely any interaction
Yeah.
until she like her brain breaks, and then now all of a sudden he cares about her. Makes
And
no
she gets like a
sense.
nosebleed just looking at him, and it's like
Huh?
you've coexisted this
She
whole
had no
time
emotions
with nothing
prior.
happening.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I like if I think like if I were to edit this show, we're just keeping Jinyu and then maybe focusing it on the 3 boys, I think that would have been very interesting. I really like the Aiko character, she's the rental girlfriend here.
Yeah,
all
they
that
don't
was
use her.
interesting. Everything in the show was interesting, and it just sadly fell apart because the actual main character just did not work.
Yeah, because it's like, to draw the comparison, The World Ends With You, right? Neku is wearing his headphones. He's not talking, but you're hearing him talk, right? His inner monologue all the time. And there's like basically no inner monologue outside of the dream sequences here, which are fundamentally at their core just an excuse to do some stylization with the animation, really. Like, they're not actually, like, the idea of rotting and stuff like that totally makes sense for like a pubescent girl to feel, right? But like, the zombie one's like the only one where it really feels like, okay, you had an idea. The rest is just like, yeah, that's happening.
But yeah, those are my personal feelings about Progressive.
No, thank you. I agree. Maverick, I'd be curious to hear you talk about it, because I think what stuck out to me that I agreed with when you said it completely, that really put a lot of my ideas into place, was when you said that who thought it was a good idea to add lore to Fooly Cooly.
Oh, yeah, no, Progressive blows, and specifically for the fact
Yeah.
that it just, like, it weirdly tries to present the original in this, like, level of reverence. And I don't know, like, I'm someone that very much, like, what is it, back in, like, 2008, whenever I was, like, 12 to 14 years old, I specifically remember there was a summer that I watched Fooly Cooly, Gunbuster, and Gurren Lagann, and that's why I'm the way I am now. Like, very much the formative shows that sort of, like, helped to establish what I would eventually get into. And thinking about Fooly Cooly progressive and alternative, there were a lot of things that kind of just, like, affect that overall perception. Part of it is, like, I don't know, like we said, Gainax doesn't exist anymore, but then that also means that specifically the way that this show came about as an OVA between some of the stuff that they're already putting out on TV, like right on the offset of like Karikano, before they're really getting into like other material, in between all of the Evangelion stuff as well, like it definitely felt like a production out of a studio going through a lot of different things at once, versus here where, yes, both are products of Production I.G, but then at the same time, it's like Production I.G, I only know more so for the consistency animation-wise, but then there's no direct, like, studio person that I could say, like, oh, who is that particular, like, person that's coming out of Production I.G, if that makes sense. Like, still at a time where the concept of an animation direction for one studio is really, like, apparent, versus now where it's kind of coming back together, but then that also comes with an awareness of the level of overwork that a lot of these studios face at the same time. And so it's not like necessarily as revered in the process. But not to go along with that, like, it tries to do this weird level of, like, calling back to the original in a way that doesn't really make sense, because, like, there's some joke where there's two characters, like, I think one who's supposed to be the rental girlfriend's, like, father figure, and the old man that, like, hangs out around them, who's just in a walking, like, Ashita no Joe joke the entire time. He's going up to kids and it's like, oh, you got the making of a champion, and that's all he exists to do, because they also remember on the big checklist of, like, things to do for a Fooly Cooly show, oh, you gotta reference older shows or whatever. Again, it feels like there's a big checklist of things that they have to take care of, and it's like, are we hitting it? You are, but I don't think you're actually hitting to the point of, like, a competent television show. And
I think I was really frustrated by Conti, the robot,
who just shows up
at the end. It's just like, it's such a piss take to me of just like, he's here, you love it, you love Fooly Cooly. It's just like that in the scene in end of episode 1, maybe episode 2, where they just start saying Fooly Cooly.
Oh yeah, and I mean, like, it also just comes up at random, because in the original, it just comes up when, like, Naoto's talking with his dad, because Haruka showed up, and he's just like, there he's basically saying, oh, you're trying to, like, screw her, aren't you? You know, furikuri euphemism for whatever you want to mean. It's the fact that it means nothing. It's...
Yeah.
And here, it's kind of that as well, but then also you don't really know who's saying it. It's all just in conjunction with Haruka taking off her disguise as the teacher, who is also talking about, like, the point of adolescence and whatnot. And it's like, I think the thing that also hurts is the fact that without it being explicitly stated, like, here, for progressive and alternative, like, the conflict is more or less, I like how things are right now, and I'm scared of things changing, and that's sort of like an undercurrent for a lot of this. Whereas Naoto's problem was more so, everything is so stagnant, I want to grow up and I want to go and experience things as an adult. And having to come to terms with the fact that, you know, the most grown-up thing you could do is recognize that there's still a level of childhood left in you, and adapt to that, and, like, accept that there is a, like, tinge of not, like, humanity, but just, like, recognize that, like, you'll get there eventually, but don't rush to get to that point, because there's still so much time in between that you should cherish as a result. And it's interesting to have those different directions when it comes to basically, like, addressing how the perception of the world was back when that show was dropped in, like, 2000, 2001, and where those same people are now. Not the same production teams, but, like, where the audience is now in 2018 when this originally came out. But at the same time, Progressive really just drops the ball, because then it's trying to say, okay, you know, what if when Haruka met Adamus, it didn't go well and she couldn't take it, so now she's two people, the person that wants to do better and then the person that wants to go back, and then they don't do anything with that. What if we had unspecified regions where some people spoke Japanese and some people didn't, because that's how the world is, and then we kind of just leave that where it is? There's like the faintest idea of gender roles that like goes nowhere. Like I specifically
Yeah.
remember like in the initial thoughts, like, oh, what if like is this a trans character? It is like I think some people thought like, what if this was like Naruto but trans now? And like I definitely don't think that would have been a show that like handled any of that like with any tact, but that was at least an idea.
It would be an idea, and that's like the main thing, right? This show doesn't feel like I don't even think like when you get into like the core narrative, quote unquote, that they're trying to talk about of just like, or like just the representations of Hidomi's problems, right? Of just like, I want to have a boyfriend but I'm anxious,
Yeah.
and also my dad is gone, like left, and that makes me feel weird. It's like, all right,
We only get those because
like,
someone like actively tells us that that's
says
happening.
that happened. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, there's no actual like intersection between that and my main problem is there's no intersection with that and the aesthetics. Like, that's the whole point of the original.
Yeah.
The idea of the horn coming out of the head, right? in
And
the original.
specifically because of the things that happen in that original show. The reason why there's all of the swing the bat, like baseball iconography, is because Naoto's older brother was a like baseball ace or whatever, and that was his ticket to go to the States, move out, live a new life, and with that comes like everything else kind of just like weighing down on Naoto in terms of like, oh, I guess this is all the things that I inherit, instead of realizing like, no, I'm my own person, my brother's somebody else, I get to now live my own life, and that means, you know, embrace the childhood that I have before all these other things that come up afterward.
And then here it's like, I think, like, why did they just have the shantytown from Kill la Kill there? Like, straight up. Like, that's just that. Like, that's not even like, it's not even like trying to create like I think about like later they do, it's not that much, but right, like, not to get ahead, like in alternative they have the shopping mall, right, as an aesthetic to surround the iron later, and that alone, combined with just this like really normal place, but that they're like introducing things like, you know, like the pins and other stuff, like that alone is creating a vibe of the things that they're trying to get into, and it's just like there's none of that reflected here. This is just, you made a fake anime town, you know, like they're going to school and doing things like they don't even, I couldn't even tell you what any of their interests are, you know, like any of these characters. That one kid, I guess, wears a skirt, right? Because I don't know.
Because he likes fashion,
want-
I guess.
I guess it just ended up feeling like they were just trying to make like some sort of like, yeah, and that's cool, or they were trying to be progressive.
But also he was the loser who needed to pay a rent-a-girlfriend.
Yeah,
Because he
so
couldn't
it's
admit he
like,
had no girl. You know, it's like, what is going on?
yeah,
There's no consistency. Yeah,
there's like,
No, it truly
It's just
was
like,
like, what if we
why?
made Fully Coolly Woke in 2018?
yeah, and it's
Psych?
like, yeah, I don't even know. Yeah, like also Psych, because it's just
Also
like,
Psych.
then it's just like the most basic thing of like, yeah, and then you get a boyfriend. Like,
Oh,
I don't,
right, and that like the guy that I mentioned before is supposed to be like Amara's like son or something.
yeah,
Yes.
that guy is, yeah, if you want to talk about like you said you liked Aiko,
yeah,
is that
Aiko.
her name?
Yeah.
Yeah, Aiko. You said you liked Aiko, and I agree. I liked Aiko too, just from her vibes, obviously. But like, they don't do anything.
Yeah.
She just becomes a tree,
She becomes plant.
and it's like, why does that happen? Like, there's just so much. Like, I think about
Also
when I think of like,
underutilized. Also underutilized.
Yeah.
Again, the more interesting aspects of the show was just underutilized.
she should have. See, if this was an alternative, does this well with Haruko, where Haruko's working every job. I just think of like, if they made a joke of she's dating someone new as a rental girlfriend in every episode, that would have been something, you know, with her, and it would have given her more time to like exist in the framework of the narrative. But they don't. She's just the rental girlfriend once, and then she doesn't show up until like the last episode, basically.
We do see her like date one
see her
guy,
put
but
money
then that's
away.
it. Yeah. Again.
Yeah, and stuff.
Like,
again,
why
just
was
nothing.
why was the
deep.
investigation bureau such an afterthought? Yeah.
Yeah, it's
A
especially
fucking
when you
eye patch
consider
old
how
man.
much.
Like, what the fuck? Where was he the whole
Yeah,
time?
I don't.
He showed up twice.
Just the way that you compare, like, it wasn't even used that much in the original, but the way they use the investigation bureau stuff in the original, it's like so much more, you know, like it's very distinctive, it's very unique, like even if it's just as simple as being like that dude has eyebrows, you know, like that's enough to be like, okay, I get a sense for who this is and I'm going to look for it. It's like here it's like I don't even know what I don't know what it I I don't. John, do you want to talk a little about this? Sorry that I haven't gotten to you yet. I know you didn't rewatch it, right? You did. You just remember pretty firmly.
Yeah, basically, I used the power of memory because I watched I watched alternative when it was new, or no, I watched progressive when it was new, and then I never got around to watching alternative, and progressive. Yeah, I just remember watching every episode as it was airing and just kind of sitting there and just like, what are y'all doing? What's going on here? Why is this being made? This just felt like, I don't know. I really don't have anything else to say because yeah, like y'all really like knocked it out here. It's just like they just like cranked out something that just did not need to exist, and I don't know, the way that I thought about it when I was watching it, and you know, like, of course I wouldn't truly know either, but it felt like they made a show to try to like convey how puberty feels for a girl, but they didn't have any girls to actually help write it, so they just, it was basically just like, hey, you know what? When I was a teen, this is how I thought girls felt. Instead of like, you know, actually having a woman's perspective. Like, I don't know, maybe there were women on the writing team, I don't know for sure, but it's just what it felt like.
Yeah, like I think like I said, like it's it really the closest they get is the stuff with like the zombie scene, I think, of representing an idea of like puberty feelings. That's like the closest they get.
No,
And
for sure. I mean, like, yeah,
even that's like vague enough to mean anything, you know? Like,
yeah, it's one of those just kind of like happy
so,
accident things where it's just like, yeah, I guess you're right, sure, whatever. Yeah, it just doesn't go anywhere. There's no, and yeah, like, you know, we talk, the thing, I was also thinking a lot about how I feel about Fooly Cooly, the original, these days, and like, there's a lot of good stuff in there, and I do still appreciate the original Fooly Cooly, but I definitely, if I watched it today, I would not feel anywhere near as like, wow, this is incredible, like I did when I was younger. Like, that show, the reason why that show took off so well is because it was on Toonami, on Adult Swim, like the exact right moment where we were all teens and we were like, yeah, we're staying up late to watch Japanese cartoons, and they're all with fighting and swearing, and you can kind of see their boobies sometimes, and it's like, it's a show that like, like the original Fooly Cooly just gets young people, and it's super great for that. But yeah, like, as someone who's nearing 30, you know, I don't need more Fooly Cooly. And like, when the new Fooly Cooly came out, when Progressive and Alternative came out, Progressive trying to be new Fooly Cooly for people who were, you know, like, aged out of Fooly Cooly, it's just a bizarre thing to try to do, you know? Like, it just, like, I don't know, maybe if, like, maybe there's younger people out there who watched Progressive and it hit them. Like, maybe it worked for them. I don't know. But also, maybe they just didn't even check it out because it's a fucking sequel to a show that, like, was what, like, 10 years old at that time? You know? Like,
Way more than that.
15
Like
years.
15?
Yeah, like, they weren't even born yet. So it's just a really bizarre thing. It's such a weird thing that they made more. And again, like,
and
like I mean, I still think it's weird that they're making even more, like that they're doing grunge and shoegaze. But like, I don't know. I mean, I know we're gonna move over to alternative soon, but it's just like after watching alternative, I'm just like, yeah, like I could go for more now. But I want it to be, like, alternative and not, like, progressive. Like, I want it to just be, like, here's this, like, coming-of-age story with this sci-fi wrapping. Because, like, yeah, like, just trying to be, like, some... Like, like, progressive is just trying to capture lightning in a bottle again. And you can't do that. You have to try something new.
The biggest thing that stands out to me is that there are interviews that you can find with the original showrunner who, like, straight up, when it comes to any sort of discussion about it, Kazuya Surakami will just be like, oh yeah, I just put stuff in because I wanted to put it in, because I thought it was cool, because I thought the stuff that would be cool to include was going to rock. That's why, he went out to find the pillows specifically to create the, like, soundtrack, because he was already into them and wanted to do a collaboration there. The animation is deep rooted not just in, like, its own fluidity, and I believe that this is, like, the same person that worked on Dead Leaves, which is also already so creative. And if not, I'm trying to remember if Dead Leaves was like an Imaishi project, and then, like, you still have Imaishi included in this production, like the original OVA as well. And you can definitely tell whenever he's, like, animating something, or, like, whenever the boards go to him. And alongside that, like, there are references to Lupin the Third, references to, like, you have characters actively talking about, like, the stuff in Ava, which you can also find another interview where famously he's like, I don't get why we're doing an end of Ava. 25 and 26 just work. Shut up about it. And I think, like, that's a lot of the ethos, where it's kind of just like, I'm doing this thing, shut up and appreciate what's in front of you. And with progressive, the biggest thing it commits is that it tries to go, hey, you know what's cool? Fully Coolly. What if we made more? Because that immediately just discredits a lot of what that original Fire had.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. That's like, that is the mood for the whole thing. It's just like there wasn't an idea to make it. It was just, there was an idea to make more Fully Coolly. But again, that was my thought watching it. And then I watched Alternative and I was like, well, hold on a second. Like, they do have ideas. So I'm so flabbergasted by this. I keep saying
so
it, like,
bizarre.
over and over again.
Yeah.
I just can't figure it out in my head, because it's like, I don't know what the teams were like for this. Like, they had the same writer, okay, for both, which is what makes me feel even more insane that both were written by the same person. Because it's like, I don't know. I don't know. They feel like completely different series. It's crazy to me. I don't know what else can be said about Progressive, really, because it's like, it is really hard to even muster up something to say.
It's so nothing.
Like,
it's so nothing. Like,
it's nothing. Like, you come away at the end and just be like, so the idea is, like, she gets in a relationship, like that's it? Like, that's all? Like, they didn't even do anything about her, like, her problems with her dad or anything, like, that she had, because they hadn't established it enough to do anything with it. It's such a bizarre series.
Yeah. And yeah, we definitely should just move over to alternative here, because like, I don't know if you want me to just go ahead, because
I'll just do I can do the quick
Sure,
description
sure,
real
sure.
quick, and
Go
then
ahead,
you can
go
go
ahead,
in.
go ahead.
I'll say, so Fooly Cooly Alternative came out the same, like right after this, right? Like immediately after they started airing this one. And this one is like, I mean, I find conflicting information because obviously, like, so they said it's a prequel, right? But obviously it takes place in the modern day. They have smartphones and all this other stuff. Really unclear what the lineage there. It doesn't really matter. But, you know, this one is about a girl named Kana, or Kanabun, as her friends call her, and she hangs out with her 3 friends. You know, Pets, Hijiri, and Mosan. And it's just sort of about each of them doing things over the course of, you know, the gradual, I guess it is really a prequel, right? Since it's happening before the Irons are there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this idea of like they are growing up and having their own problems as the Fooly Cooly stuff starts to like start happening with aliens and robots and all that other nonsense. But yeah, John, you can go right ahead now that we have that little description.
Sure. I mean, it's like, I don't know. I mean, I definitely don't think it's something that you should like really overly think about because yeah, like it's got the irons and all that, but also it just like, you know, shit's just happening to happen. But there's actual character development here. There's like actual arcs and likable characters here. Like the whole group of girls is just like really fun to hang out with. Like this, they should have just made 12 episodes of this instead of 6 and 6. You know, like they they do a really good job of like integrating the Fooly Cooliness with like a more traditional story. Because you know, like something I would say for both of these Fooly Cooly shows is that, yeah, of course, they're nowhere near as, like, wacky and inventive as original Fooly Cooly was. Like, there's no, yeah, you know, you mentioned, like, the eyebrow guy. There's nothing like that. There's no scene where they're suddenly animated like South Park for no reason, you know? Like, they don't go as crazy in this. But, you know, it's still, like, a fun time. Like, Alternative is just a solid little show with a great cast of characters, and like Haruko is like a fun foil. Like she is just an instigator in this, and like she is constantly just, yeah, you're right, she's doing like all these wacky jobs. She's constantly just starting trouble. She's flirting with everyone's boyfriends and all that, and it's like, but the thing is that she's doing it all for the right reason, which is the funniest part too. Like she is just always just helping each of these girls make the next step forward in their lives. Whether it's, oh, I should really break up with this dude, or oh, I should go for asking this guy out, not because I should date him, but because I need to figure out, you know, I just shouldn't rush into a relationship. Or hey, I should, you know, really have faith in my ability as an artist. Like there's these varied relationships that they have, and like each character has their own arc and their own interactions. And then, you know, you could even say like, oh, well, Pets doesn't really have one, but like they kind of use that as part of the plot, and then she kind of has her own little arc too. And you know, it's a sad bit, and like it's not really about, it's less about her and more about the rest of them. But like I think it's just a well written story, and yeah, again, like it's not anywhere like it's not like gonna be anyone's classic or anything. Like I definitely think that if this wasn't called Fooly Cooly, it would have just been like, yeah, this is this nice little OVA, you know, check it out, and people would have dug it, and you know, it would have been one of those like under the radar shows that you should check out kind of things. But because it's a Fooly Cooly thing, now it's like, ugh. Remember when they tried to bring Fooly Cooly back? This is nothing like old Fooly Cooly. And it's like, yeah, it's not anything like Fooly Cooly. And it's kind of a bummer that it's like, it's not like the original, but at the same time, like, this is just fine. It's good. It's just good. Like, really, like I would just say, like, my only, like, really major complaint is just that they, you know, they have a fat character, and they pretty consistently make fat jokes about her, but, like, they also, like, in the same breath, like, have her be, like, a really well-written character, and, like, all of her friends love her and everything, and it's just, like, It's just one of those things where it's just like, yeah, you very obviously care about this character and like she's cool, but also you know whoever was writing this also had to just be like, the fat people are still pretty crazy, huh? Isn't that fucked up that they're fat? And it's just like, all right. But I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it.
No, yeah. That was I think genuinely like the thing that frustrated me the most with it was really like the fat jokes. Like it just felt so insane because like they, like you said, like they were humanizing her, you know, like they were not just humanizing her. That makes it sound way worse than it was, I guess. But you know, like they were talking about her as like a character that wasn't just that, versus the, you know, the in Progressive, the like fat character in that, they only made like one fat joke with him, but like it was still like he didn't have anything else going on, right? So it stuck out a little.
Yeah,
like,
and
only a little.
It was
but like,
it was one of those
hard
things.
to focus.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it was like, if they had done it like maybe once or twice, it would have been like, oh, maybe, especially because like she played along with it sometimes. They could have very much just been like,
Yeah.
she's in on the joke. She doesn't mind, you know, like it's, you know, people can do whatever they want, you know, that's one thing. But yeah, it's just that they do it like at least once an episode basically, and it's just like, all right, relax a little bit, you know, like please.
Yeah.
But otherwise it's just fun. It's just good.
Yeah, it's fun. But the thing that I really liked about it was it really, like, by focusing on all four of those girls, and I think like it is to the detriment of like I don't think they have like any guys in that show that are really examined outside of the galactic immigration guy, who I do like, even though he's very limited in his role.
Yeah.
But I think it's fine because you end up with this idea of they had themes they wanted to discuss, and they do it through their actions and the aesthetics and the things that they're doing in the show. And I think, whereas the original Fooly Cooly, like, obviously they have a lot of characters and do stuff with them, it is still fundamentally about Naoto, right? Mm-hmm. Like, it is all about him. And here, I think they struck a really good balance of the idea of like no person is an island, right? And like how, like, especially for like young women, you know, like you get in all of those social situations and stuff like that, like they were dealing with, and the way that Kana always wants to butt in and do stuff, you know, it helps them cover the ground of like having stuff go on for all of these different characters and still like focus on her, you know, like it's just a good balance. It's a really good balance, and there's like no balance in Progressive at all. But I wanted to hear what Maverick had to say, because I know Maverick, you really liked it, as far as I can tell. I think you really liked it.
Yeah, honestly, it's up there for like it's up there for the original Fooly Cooly for me. If you are tackling again that idea of like, if you originally are coming in with this very like tapered idea of, I want to grow up so quickly, and the thing I have to learn is that I have to take my time, like getting to that eventual point of responsibility, maturity, to flip that on its head and say, you know, I want to stay exactly the same and with how things are, and the thing I need to learn is to accept change as it comes. This definitely does a great job of really leaning into how that would like flip itself, and really just like present, especially a character who like I think gets to this really fantastic principle, because I think a lot as well about how there's a little bit of like Ericksonian social psychology present with some of Fooly Cooly, or at least like the interpretation that can come up. And quick psych lesson, Eric Erikson was a psychologist who specifically had come up with this theory of psychosocial development as it pertains to various stages in life where you're often given a conflict, and your mastery or ability to like overcome this conflict provides you a core value, so to say. And from infancy, it's this idea of like trust versus mistrust. Are you in an environment where you, as like a literal baby, feel secured, safe, and attended to, or are you not even given that material, up front? Do you have the ability to like, learn how to potty train, learn how to do these things by yourself, learn how to walk, have that beginning sense of autonomy? Or are you not able to do that for whatever reason? Psychological theories are all, again, like theories. So it's not a like direct correlation as to how you are as an individual. But I think it just strikes me here where we have our main cast who is like 17, 18, constantly presented with this idea of like, oh, what are you going to do after high school? What are things going to be like once you graduate? Contrast that with now, so where the big thing is like, oh, you're going to go to middle school soon, you're going to have your school uniform, you're going to be learning how to do things, and it's a contrast ultimately in what the focus is, where for Naota, it's more so like, do I still stick to this idea of seeing myself as an adult, or do I ultimately accept that I'm a kid who's still learning what I am and I'm not good at? And then for our main cast and our main girl, whose name totally does not escape me, and I know exactly...
Kana Boon?
Yeah, Kana. For Kana, her case is more just like, well, who am I? And what do I think I am able to do? And we kind of get there where it's like, in trying to help out... for the fashion show for Mosan, she's kind of like, I like helping other people. That helps me take care of things. And I know that if I can't do anything else, I can at least be there for the people that I care about and ask them to be involved in their lives. And I really love that they tee it up. And in episode 5, Pets is just like, dude, you're just doing this for yourself. You constantly intrude in other people. What do you actually want to do for yourself? How do you feel like, who are you ultimately at this crossroads? And if I'm gone, like, I'm still going to be me. I'm still going to live the way that I am. But what are you going to do? And it's such a hard-hitting moment that I really appreciated. And it leads into an episode where, at the end of the day, Kana's still learning this about herself, but there's at least a confidence in the unknown that wasn't there in the beginning.
I really like the I like the idea of like herself, like discovery coming in a form of like her realizing like, well, that is like a part of me, like that part that likes butting in and wants to help people. Like, I love doing that. And I like how that's expressed also, because oftentimes it's like in a lot of anime like this, the message is like, and now you're going to do something completely different. You need to become a selfish person or something, like stuff like that. And they don't do that here, which I liked. I also just like the idea of like, I really liked episode 5 from the idea of just like her actually realizing like she doesn't know her friend, right? Mm-hmm. Her best friend. She doesn't actually know her. And I think that's like a really interesting angle that they don't all the way go in, but it's an interesting angle that got me thinking about it, of just like this idea of the school friends who like, you are all friends by convenience fundamentally, like, or just by like circumstances rather. Like you are getting along and you are talking with each other and you are like having these things and stuff. In a lot of the cases, like obviously with some people you grow deeper, you get along and stuff like that. But other people, like, you're just there because you're young, right? You don't know what you want, which is the further theme of the show. But I really like discussing something like that, because I feel like there's such a fixation specifically in Japanese high school media, which there's a lot of, that like, these are the people you will be with for the rest of your life. And that's a nice romantic idea. Mm-hmm. But like, when it comes to realism, like at least for me, it's like, I know I have one person from high school I still talk to. and it's like that that's just normal. That's fine. Like I liked that angle of intersecting with the Pets plot of just being like she leaves, she's just gone, and like you didn't even really know her, and that's fine, you know, like in the end, like you had the times together, and like maybe that didn't mean as much as whatever, but it meant something to her. I don't know how to express this thought specifically, but I just liked that angle of like this idea of like high school friends don't have to be your lifelong partners. They don't have to be your JRPG party.
No, yeah, like I don't know, like I was talking to a friend pretty recently about something like this, and it's just like relationships are one of two things: either they end in some way, or one of you dies. Like all relationships end at some point, and you know it's all about what you take from those relationships into your next ones that really matter. Yeah.
Yeah, and I really liked that angle of it, and I liked that it wasn't just like purely to the exclusion of like it being one of the four girls. I think is a really smart move instead of just separating her from all of them, because it's like the other two girls, they're just vibing, you know, they're there.
Yeah.
They overcame their struggles and they're dealing with it, and they're just happy to be around her because they're happy for what she did for them, you know, like. And Pets is like, what could she have done to help her with that situation?
Yeah.
And like, I could also see like on another angle, like this idea of Pet's resentment to an extent of like, you're helping all these people, and then I'm just here in this like nightmare rich people situation that I don't really like, but like you never even ask, you know. It was good. It was ideas, you know? Like that's just what I was thinking. Like the whole time I was watching Alternative, I was like, "Oh my god, you're having ideas. You're expressing themes through events that are occurring." Like this is crazy stuff. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, it was much better. It was much better. Like again, I said like I don't know if I like super like it, or if it was just like watching Progressive was so bad that I was just like, "Oh, thank God." Like you can execute on this concept. You can execute on the idea of what a new Fooly Cooly would be.
Yeah.
It also just had like it had space, and that was the thing that Progressive lacked so much of.
Yeah, definitely. LV, what are your thoughts on Alternative? I keep wanting to say
Yeah, I was about to talk up the name too. Well, I guess my overall like opinion, just encompassing what everyone else has said already, is that yeah, it's definitely a far stronger introspection of, I think, you know, kind of the loose themes FLCL wants to convey compared to what Progressive was trying to do. And I think it's a much stronger foil to the original series in its exploration of a group, its exploration of like a much better kind of portrayal of like a female perspective of concepts of maturity and what growing up and moving on means. I especially agree with the discussion around Pets specifically. I think in a lot of ways the character Pets and Mamimi from the original series kind of coincide with each other. They kind of go along the same parallel of being that character, as John has mentioned, you know, kind of being that symbolic character of like, this is a person in your life that will come and go. But in a lot of ways, they will change you in ways you may or may or not expect, but that doesn't mean they're like a permanent fixture in your life. And in that regard, they have like their own battles going on that is not necessarily the responsibility of the main character to fix, and neither should be. Compared to Naoto, who is just a kid who's just like, oh, okay, this older girl is being fucking weird with me, and like, I don't know how to respond to this verse, you know, and then compared to Kana, who wants to try to fix everything, be that people fixer, and then her having to learn to let go and kind of moving on from that. Just agree on all accounts. It's perhaps, again, not an amazing series, of course, not an amazing series, again, that could stand out on its own and again, this is something I, would have not probably stood on its own if it were not part of like an FLCL bigger, umbrella. But for sure, again, because of like, if we are comparing this to progressive, especially alternative to progressive, like it's definitely a far stronger series. And on the notes of, Haruko especially, like when Maverick's own complaints about like progressive just has too much lore, and why did lore that ends up not like, it ends up falling apart, or like the concept of like trying to bother touching upon the idea that FLCA has lore is laughable. Haruko is like working in a role that makes sense for what this character should be. If like retroactively there are more FLCL stories, she should be a cipher, and that's what I felt like she was. She should be just a weird, wacky alien that is kind of intervening upon these mundane lives of these characters, and that's it. Like that's what kind of makes the whole thing going on in progressive insane. That they really tried to give her some sort of strange agenda that like big deeper like conflict that is very off-putting, right? In regards to what translates as like a bizarre obsessive love, if not chase for this like this amorphous figure that they keep alluding to throughout FLCL, Adam-esque. And it's like, where did that come from? Again, which coincides with going back to the weird marketing of the show. Like, was this a prequel? Was this a sequel? What is going on? And again, going back, like, this is not something that should have, like, thoughtful lore and should not be, like, strung out in a way, like that. It really should just be, at its core, right, where I think it succeeds, like, with this basic concept, like, okay, here is a problem or series of problems that is kind of overseeing these group of adolescents or these group of people that are kind of going through a transition in their life, and here's this weird supernatural outside character being thrown in to kind of stir up everything, and hijinks ensue. That's it.
Because it's not like she even does anything. I mean,
right.
like, I think about, or rather her, like, Arco's purpose, or at her best, is when she is, like, antagonistic of sorts, but even then, it's not, like, inherently, like, I don't know, I find it funny that the gag for alternative was that they all just knew who Haruko was.
Yeah.
Even though it's never been, like, established.
It's like, oh, it's her, yeah.
Yeah, like, they just knew instinctively, and it's funny because of the way that it comes up everywhere else, and even then, like, like, for most times, she wasn't even an antagonist. She's just like, oh, I'm going to wear your stuff out on the runway, and that'll be my bit. And I ruined the show, but, that doesn't really affect you.
Mm-hmm.
Just, like, that really made me think just now also of, like, you talking about, like, how she is in progressive. It's like, if they wanted to do something, this is what gets me about, like, how nothing the show is. If they wanted to do something about her being separated into two halves, the needy half and the professional half, or whatever, for lack of a better adjective.
The side that wants to move on, and the side that wants to get back with your shitty ex.
Yeah.
And the side that gets back with your shitty ex wins.
But, like, this idea of, like, they combine and then it's just the same. So it's like, is that even combining?
Oh, no, because then they try and get about that, where it's like, she's preggo for an episode, and that's...
Talking about the pregnant episode. Yeah, her food baby.
Her
it's
Jinyu
a more
food
pregnant
baby.
episode. Let's be specific here. She ate that woman.
No, she eats Jinyu, and then, like, that's an issue until she throws up Jinyu, I guess, and...
There's so many.
Off the shits.
I don't know what they were thinking with progressive. It's just... Okay. Actually, that did remind me. I have one other problem with alternative, and this is a very minor problem. Mm-hmm. It's not a real big deal. She just yells references when they're doing references.
Yeah.
Like when she just jumps and yells, Michael Bay! And like...
They're fighting a Transformer.
And doing Star Wars
it looks
stuff,
like a Michael Bay Transformer.
Like, may the Force be with you, or whatever she says.
Fucking lightsabers, yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Like,
they.
that was.
I will say they do that in the original.
I was going to say that they do that in the original, so I can't get mad too much. But it's the one thing that it's like, hey, if these characters are gonna grow up, can you also maybe?
No, she's gonna be some level of consistent, and I think that works. Where she is at least a barometer of sorts, especially with like. I don't know, it also cracked me up with like the little brother, Kana's little brother, who just didn't care.
Yeah, he didn't give a shit. I like when she's like, "Do you have a girlfriend?" Yeah. Like she's just like, "No way," and he's like, "What?"
It's like, yeah, nah, check it out, and he just holds up his gotcha game.
Yeah. I will say, did everyone watch it subbed?
Oh no, I did the dub.
I did that
did the
dub,
dub?
baby.
Oh, no, I
you
did.
know
Yeah,
it.
I did the dub too. Yeah.
I'm the only one who did the sub. Okay.
Yeah, loser.
What are your thoughts on the dub? I would argue the opposite. Because I will grant that I did not watch the dub of Alternative. However, the first episode of Progressive caused like psychic damage to my soul, I think.
I thought it was
I bet
fine.
the other ones weren't as bad, but the first episode of Progressive, something about Carrie Walgren as Haruko was bad. It was not good in that episode because mostly I think because she's pretending to be that teacher or whatever for it.
Yeah.
It was not as good as the Japanese version. I will say that. I think they were doing very different tones, and there it just sounded like she was doing. I don't even know.
I thought it was fine.
It's fine. It's fine. I was just curious your thoughts. If you think it's fine, that's acceptable.
For me, when I watched the original FLCL again, it was the original dub, and perhaps for me, I didn't think too much of alternative progressive. Like, oh, okay, it's fine, it's whatever. I don't know. I wish I could say Carrie Walgren was consistent throughout all three series. However, watching the original, and I think that's why I'm blindsided here because it's like, oh, they were fine. I thought the original English dub, watching it now, that I thought it was not good. I something about the voice direction, especially in that era of anime dubs, was a hot mess. Like it was kind of like all over the place in some parts where it's like, oh, okay, cool, and then some voice actors are pronouncing Japanese words, and it's just, ooh, what are you doing here? So perhaps that's why it pales in comparison, and I was like, oh, okay. The alternative and progressive English dubs that were produced all these years later in recent history just felt like so much better in comparison to like an anime dub from 2002 or 3, you know? And that could be just it, to me, personally.
Nah, it's great.
Fair
It
enough.
still rules. Listen.
Okay. I was just like, oh, this is so noticeable to me.
No, for sure. Like, the original Fully Cooley is dated as hell, and I'm not gonna like argue that part to it. But at the same time, there is such like a fluidity, and especially because of the fact that like the easiest ways I would say to digest Fully Cooley is to just think of it as like 6 extended music videos.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Yeah.
vignettes, basically.
Yeah, because like, wait, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, and like when you have a delivery that is like at least still rhythmically in sync, and a part of it are definitely still like not strong. Like I would say Mimimi definitely has her moments where it's like, yeah, you know,
Yeah.
late.
Like, what is going on
Or-
here?
It's the early 2000s, and like ADR as an industry is still
Yeah, they're
being like
no one,
developed.
people were making stuff. They were pulling in ADR directors who like don't know what's, you know, and that's funny because, you know, and then yeah, I felt like Mimimi was the worst character, and yet she was voiced by Stephanie Shea, who is now basically a really good voice director these days. She like voice directed or had some ADR work, I think, for progressive and alternative, and she's pretty much just a voice director these days. And I don't know if she often pitches in on roles anymore, but it's just funny to see like
Yeah,
her-
it's
her-
one of those.
her own acting trajectory and her own improvement in her skill set like over the years too, which again, not her fault. It just harkens back to like no one knew what the fuck they were doing with English dub voice direction like back then, right?
Yeah, especially at a time where it's like, oh, people do want to see this, or you know, it's not just taking an entire cartoon from Japan and adapting it so that it meets standards and practices for the States. It was an entirely new direction to regard anime, and because of that, part of the dub, like, I definitely didn't feel any sort of like creakiness with the dub. I think like for progressive, it is Hidori or fucking Cat Girl. Is she
Hidomi.
voiced by is she voiced by like Morgana?
Let me
Did
check.
I get that right?
By like from what? From the video game?
Yeah.
Let me see. I'll tell you in a second.
Because that felt like that's where that was. Oh no, Xanthi Hyun.
No, it's in Nori Minase.
But no, Xanthi Hyun usually does a good job.
And the English dub, yeah.
Yeah, Allegra Clark
Oh, and
knocks it out of the park.
I think most of the teenager characters are definitely like been the more recent new wave anime dub actors who I felt like a lot of these, like this particular past few generations of new names have been very good and skilled. I felt like, whereas a lot of the older characters, yeah, it's like you got Yuri. No, Yuri Lowenthal was Marco. I'm just looking at this cast now, but like I
Yeah.
felt like some of the teenager characters are a lot of like kind of not like the quote unquote household names of older dub actors who were actually more active back then. These are a lot of newer names or folks who used to just use more bit player roles who are now kind of stepping into bigger cast roles, which is nice.
Alternative
Some
definitely
all-
felt like a very refreshing
Yes.
cast.
Yes. I felt like those voices were very naturalistic too in a lot of ways.
The audio that I got to hear like a small amount of the audio for the English dub for alternative, and I thought it was better. So I'll say that at
Yeah, yeah,
least.
Oh yeah,
Progressive
But
as a whole
also-
is just cringe. I
Yeah,
think
I was
that's
gonna say like I don't know if they had much to work with to make it good.
every aspect
Like,
of it then I guess is just not good.
I don't know what they were doing. I don't want to like linger on it too long, but man,
No,
like
I understand. It's just
fuck.
like,
It's like it's
and again, it's like technically speaking for progressive, she's called Haru Haraharu, but like I'm not. Again, you're asking me to think about lore. Shut up.
yeah, I don't get that aspect of it. Like it's clearly like you say like it's supposed to be like a music video, and it's like that's true. That should be the level of engagement with it. It's like why are you pandering to the ashes in a coma people? Like they're not going all the way in that direction, but they basically are, like in progressive with all the bullshit all the time. It's like Alternative's way better. I'm glad that I watched Alternative at least.
Yeah.
It was its own nice little thing.
Thank you, my Twilight and Star Overhead. Really good songs.
Oh my god.
The pillows still
Absolutely.
crush it if
They
you
do.
can believe it. Yeah. Hard to go wrong there, I guess. But yeah, if that's all, I guess we can move on to our anime of the year stuff if you guys would like to.
I mean, we did technically get an opinion here for
Okay.
so Robin here, who you live with Rose, so I'm just gonna say here. So
Yeah.
she said the Pillows are always a good band, of course, agreed. But then Progressive
true.
killed my energy to give Alternative a try. Unfortunately, I'm not sure why it got made when Fooly Cooly was such a standalone thing. Like, yes, sure. Did you just like watch Alternative without her, but did you watch Progressive
Yeah.
with her? And she was just like,
And I would say like half of progressive without her.
she was just like, fuck this, I'm out.
threw in the towel.
we like so like I kind of had to like I kind of put it off and had to watch it all yesterday.
We all
and
did.
the day before that.
Except,
Yeah,
well, LV maybe
which
not.
wasn't
I don't
that bad.
know. I don't know. about
Maybe
you.
not LV, the consummate professional that she is.
No, I watched it last minute also.
Okay,
Yeah,
then yeah.
good.
then-
There we
okay.
go.
Oh,
See,
yeah,
yeah.
solidarity.
Not within the last 5 hours, but like yesterday I was still finishing.
Well, so yeah, like I think it was just really boring. I think
Yeah,
it
it was
just
just
like it
difficult.
just bore. And we have like we're watching a lot of seasonal anime. It's like
telling
we'd
that
rather
this
watch
is,
that.
It's telling that this is something that was only 6 episodes, and it was somehow hard to go through.
Yeah,
When we
it
watched
really
like
was.
movies
It felt like
and like
I've
or
always
series.
loved vegetables. To be clear, it felt like eating your damn vegetables as a child. That's what it felt like. Like I was like, damn, I guess I gotta do it.
Yeah.
Like I struggle to say this because it's not that bad, but it was like I think of how mad I got about Flowers of Evil, and I might be more mad here. I don't know. Like I might be more mad just by virtue of like I didn't think it worked, but they were doing rotoscoping and all that other stuff with that one, and they were trying like I thought it was stupid and bad and dumb and had dumb ideas, whatever. And it was a bad adaptation, but like I don't even know what this was. Like,
See,
what was it?
I get blindsided by the fact that like I'll meet people who actually do like the adaptation, or like people remember like, oh yeah, people hate it because it's rotoscoped, and like, oh, that's silly, I'll probably check it out maybe. And I can at least sit here and say like, oh no, I hated it so much I sought out, and
Yeah,
found,
you saw the source material and you liked that.
yeah, it was a weird like return of my investment ultimately, but
And what is there here? Right? Yeah.
I
we
mean,
got a
here
pillow
in the weird
songs.
way, it's like, oh, progressive sucks so much that I'm already low expectations with alternative, and then it just ends up being really nice.
Yeah.
It's weird, and it feels like ultimately like the order for 2 series was already put down because it feels like 12 episode cores are just the way that you do things. It's rare to see a 6 episode OVA be ordered in the first place nowadays, but in this case, especially since it was something that was requested by Toonami, and I think that's the other part that's like overarching in all of this, where it is kind of just spearheaded by the company that profited the most out of the original like inception of Fooly Cooly, all things considered. And it's why we're getting Shoegaze and Grunge this year, even is when those are coming out. But like, I look at it and I see 2 stories and 2 ideas. What if we, took the energy of the original and tried to translate it into 2018 when this originally came out? And then another where it's like, what if we take the energy of Fooly Cooly and used a new story in order to hit at some of the similar themes? And you can see the results of that, where, and this is something I wanted to make into a video essay at one point. Maybe it'll come out again, I have no idea. It's something that I could probably stand to think about, but like, my whole thesis is that you can't just make another Fooly Cooly. It has to come across as something that like wanted to be done and wanted to be given that purpose. And progressive shows ostensibly you cannot just make Fooly Cooly 2. Alternative at least says like, take the energy that's there and run with it so that you're able to make something all your own. And I think if the latter at least showcased that for this upcoming project, I'm at least somewhat hopeful about what's in the horizon to come. But at the same time, it's still reliant on Haruka as like the centerpiece, and I feel like that's already the misstep in what's going on. But literally can't tell until it shows up.
It is
It's just insane.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just like, it's just insane.
It is.
Yeah, but I guess at the end of the day, I would say, maybe do give alternative a chance. Like you don't
just watch alternative.
You don't have to
like,
watch
if you've
Prog.
never watched either.
Yeah.
Just watch. You're not missing anything. Like you're missing if you watch the subs, it was Miyuki Sawashiro was genuine. That was really cool. But like, you can see Miyuki Sawashiro be cool somewhere else.
Yeah,
They wasted that character design.
they did.
On nothing. Nothing.
I just like if it's just super bizarre because if you would have asked me a week ago, John, are you looking forward to Fooly Cooly Grunge and Shoegaze? I would have been like, fuck no, are you insane? And now I'm just like,
Yeah.
like kinda, maybe might be good, you know? Like I'm not like wait, I'm not like yes, give it to me, but I'm just like, yeah, when that comes out, I'll probably check it out. Maybe one of them be good. I don't know.
Which one do you think will be evil? My bet's on Shoegaze being evil.
Shoegaze sounds like the evil one, the one that could be easy. I mean, Grunge sounds like they're gonna have fun with it. So let's see that.
That sounds promising,
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
Grunge.
just like from a namesake,
Yeah.
like
Wow, the fake My Bloody Valentine fans in chat right now.
I love Shoegaze, and they're.
I love Shoegaze.
I love Shoegaze also, but I think they're gonna be evil with that name. They're gonna just be evil.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And I don't know. There's no rhyme or reason as to why these are also named alternative progressive at all. I think it was purely just random. I don't think they thought about it. I definitely don't think they thought about it. So
I mean,
No way.
despite all of us, Shoegaze is gonna be evil and bad.
see,
That
okay.
might be the possibility.
So the thing is that like
here we go.
is that progressive feels like it was them continuing the same concepts as the original Fooly
Okay.
Cooly, and then
All right,
alternative was
okay.
just like a different kind of story from
Different
the original Fooly
take.
Cooly.
Got it.
Then what the fuck is Shoegaze gonna be?
That's what I was saying. That's what I was gonna say. Is that like, you know, that made sense in that context, but now that they're making more, it's just like, yeah, I guess we're just
Right.
gonna name it after
Maybe
genres of
not.
rock.
Maybe there
Yeah,
was no
like,
meaning.
yeah.
We need those that post of the Spotify insane music genres they give people. Need like clown battle, FLCL clown battle music or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, we need a dreamcore. We need a fucking like raps about Minecraft YouTubers. FLCL.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
She basically does that at one point.
That is true. She does just bust it down out of nowhere at one point, which is pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie. All right, yeah, I think it's time for us to run through our anime of the year choices.
So I'm guessing favorite pick is not FLCL.
No.
For anyone.
Somehow.
So that's what out of the way as a potential nominee.
Yeah.
The best assigned show. Yeah, let's go. It's progressive. You know, it taught me a lot. No, I was glad that I watched it still. I'm sorry for my jokey jab at the beginning,
Yeah.
Maverick. I'm genuinely still glad to have watched it.
Oh no! Again, like I went into it thinking like, oh, what's the way that I could like hurt people for the new year, and even surprising myself, I got a decent
A
time.
self-own.
Well, thank you for your evil, I guess. I hope next time you get the yin yang switch and it's good Maverick. It's like, I wanted to show you all something beautiful.
Maybe I'll see what the spirit strikes.
We'll see what Gundam does to you.
Yeah, right. Hey, Maverick here. This episode ended up being a lot longer than we anticipated, so we've split it up into 2 parts. Thanks for listening to our breakdown of Fooly Cooly Progressive and Alternative. Up next is our rundown of Anime of the Year, along with the first assigned series of the new year. Catch you there!